Hey dudes, I've received a lot of emails asking me how I rig my Blackmagic cameras. And because I have the Pocket 4K and the 6K Pro, I thought I'd show you how I'm adapting my accessories from those cameras to the Ursa 12K Pro. So, let's get into it. When on set, for me, it's all about speed. So I actually prefer using the Ursa cameras in this configuration. So I'm using the LANC connected hand grip. I've stripped everything away from the camera. I've gotten rid of the top handle, the EVF, and I've just replaced it with a Nato rail with a nice ARRI rosette at the front. So if I need to put another side handle out here, I can. But if I was not going to use this LANC controller here, I would actually use this LANC controller here from CanMan. It's just a little bit more ergonomic. This has 4 assignable pressure-sensitive trigger buttons on it, which you can pre-program via the app to basically do any command that you want with the camera. So anything that's assignable, you can assign to one of those buttons. The difference really here is this is a couple of $100 and this is a couple of $1,000. But you will be thankful at the end of the day, especially if you're shooting a lot of handheld for a long period of time, of using this over this. It is a very handy product. But if you're on a budget, this is still very acceptable. Now, the first thing I like to do when I get a camera is obviously put on a lens because I want to get a picture up on set as quickly as possible. Now, with the Ursa Mini Pro 12K, I actually really like to use these Canon lenses because they've got a nice soft image. And that with the 12K sensor seems to work really well. I use a C-Box for powering the camera, and the reason why is because I don't currently have an SDI monitor. And this has a conversion box in it, and it also gives me an additional 3 SDI outs if required. So it converts 1 into 3, plus it gives me 2 HDMI 2.0 ports, which means that I've got a lot of distribution on set from a single module. Plus I still have the EVF SDI out on the front of the camera if I need it. This is a really good piece of kit. It also has a DTAP and a USB-C power. So now in this configuration with the Blackmagic V-Lock mount that comes standard with the camera, you now have 2 DTAPs, 2 HDMIs, and 4 SDI outs. To power the camera, I like using the Andycine batteries. These are 14.8 volt, 6400 milliamp, 95 watt hours. And these are incredible. Like, I am so blown away by these little batteries. I mean, when you look at it, it just appears like it couldn't really power anything for that long. But funnily enough, it actually supplies longer power than this Lite Pro BP230, which is a 230 watt hour battery. And the reason for that is that some of these older batteries like this have older controller chips in them. So when they're communicating through the IDX into the camera, you don't actually get the full capacity of the battery. So this battery will only run to about 50% and then switch off, which means it's getting nearly identical run times at 1 hour 45 minutes as this little Andycine battery, which is pretty incredible. And on top of that, it also gives me an additional 2 PTAPs. So now I have 4 PTAPs. Another great thing about these Andycine batteries is that you also get another USB power supply on the battery. So you think of all the accessories these days that use USB-C input, you've got another one there. Now I use a Nato rail on the front of the camera to mount my monitor, and I use a small Rig Hawklock to adjust it on the camera. So then I can just move my monitor very quickly up and down. It also has this quick release attachment, so you can just pop it on like this, pull the trigger down, and away you go. You're locked. Take your HDMI cable like this, bang, you are good to go. The monitor I'm using is the Andycine 7-inch 4K HDMI 2.0 C7 Lite, which is a touchscreen monitor, and it does 4K 60p. So that's one of the things that this monitor can do, which other monitors can't do. It does 4K 60p, and that really is its selling point. It has a fantastic picture on it, and it's got great internal monitoring features for things like audio, false color, focus peaking, all the stuff that you guys want from a monitor, and it's very cheap. It's very affordable. It's around $200. It takes NPF batteries, or you can power it via USB-C. It also has an SD card slot, so you can upload some form of LUT file to it. The only other thing I'm adding, obviously, is a Mattebox. This is really how I'm shooting with an Ursa Mini Pro 12K. This is it. this is how I rock it, just like this. It's not heavy, it's super lightweight, and it's super easy to use. Okay, so now that I've got the camera rigged in how I'd use it, probably the most important thing about the camera is what sort of media I'm using with it. Now, I'm a big advocate of Angelbird, which you guys know, but because this is a 12K camera, I am actually using the 1 terabyte Angelbird cards. I've got 2 of those, and I've got 3 256 gig cards, and I've just recently picked up 2 of the V90 512 gig SDX UHS Class 2 cards, which have a maximum read-write speed of 300 megabytes per second, so that I can literally have 3 terabytes of data inside the camera at one time. Now, I can't believe I'm saying I've got a camera that I'm putting 3 terabytes of data into it at any given point, but yes, I literally am. Now, to shift that data from the cards on set. Now, this is something that a lot of people don't talk about, but I do because it's important. So once I've captured the footage with the 12K, I'm using the Angelbird card readers. Now, I use the Angelbird card readers for a couple of reasons, but mainly it's because they're rock solid. They've got a good protective connection at the back. They allow you to firmware update your cards, which is really important. That's a big thing that a lot of people overlook. And they're fast. The only other thing I take out on set with me on the regular is the Angelbird Pocket SSD to go. This is 512 gig, and if I need it, I just Velcro it right here on top of the audio port, and I just run a little USB-C cable down to the back. Now that's just in case I need more media space. This camera is a data monster. No matter which compression ratio you use with the RAW, it just fills up cards ridiculously quickly, and you can really quickly fill up 8 terabyte. So it's something to remember, which is the reason why I use Angelbird cards. Just circling back to that. They're the only company that I know of that offers data protection on their cards. And if you're loading up your camera with 3 terabyte of media, that's a lot of media that you could potentially lose in one hit. They're the only company that I trust with my data, and I know if anything happens, I can just shoot them over in the post to Austria. I'm going to get my data recovered and it's going to be returned. And I can have my project saved. So when I'm hooking these up to my computer, I'm actually dumping them off to the Cloud Store Mini now. That's my workflow. So this is actually part of my camera package that goes out on set. And it's really important for DITs, I think. I think this is something that may change the way people work on set. And the reason why I say that is because you've got your 10 gigabit and your single gigabit Ethernet ports on the back. So you can actually connect a second computer up to this, one to do ingest and one to do preview and distribution on set. So let's say somebody wants to see some footage that you've ingested. You can do that over the 1 gigabit port, play it on a laptop, and just wirelessly transmit it out of your HDMI port. So this is very handy, and it'll also allow you to do transcoding and set up projects while you're on set. So if you're a solo operator like me, that becomes very handy because it becomes very quick and easy to do. So guys, that is how I rig my Ursa Mini Pro 12K. Now, if it was my pocket camera or my Pocket 6K Pro, it's literally the same build with only the middle, as in the camera body, being swapped out. That's why I think that camera accessories are a much smarter purchase than buying expensive cameras. All these accessories make it a little bit easier. They don't make the images any better. They just make it easier for you as a DP to get those images. Now, I will have a review of the Ursa Mini Pro coming out because I've now been using it for well over a month, and that should be coming out pretty soon. So if that's something that you're interested in, just remember to hit the subscribe button. If you're interested in my review of the Cloud Store Mini, you can check it out over there. So I hope this has answered all your questions, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.